There's a truth about life that no one wants to tell you until it's too late. It's a lesson learned through hardship, through betrayal, through watching people you once trusted dismantle the very foundation of your dignity. And here it is, as you get older, no matter how free you are, no matter how nostalgic you feel, there are certain doors you should never knock on. Why is that? Because the past has claws. Because human nature is deeply flawed. Because the wrong environments can undo years of your hard work and self-respect in an instant. So today, I want to talk to you about 6 kinds of people whose homes you must avoid if you wish to keep your peace, your integrity, and your future intact. Before we begin, I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video. It helps me keep sharing more important lessons. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please comment 1. If you don't, comment 0 so I know how to improve. Now, let's get started. 1. The betrayers. Betrayal is one of the deepest wounds a person can experience. It is not just about broken trust, it is about realizing that someone you once held close, someone you may have shared your dreams, your fears, your vulnerabilities with, made a conscious choice to turn against you. And that choice was not an accident. It was deliberate. It was calculated. And most of the time, it is irreversible. Yet, as we get older, we often find ourselves tempted to reconnect with the past, to revisit the people who hurt us, thinking that maybe time has softened the pain, that maybe things have changed. But here's the truth: time does not change character. Time does not rewrite intention. It only reveals it. And if someone was capable of betraying you once, they are capable of doing it again. When someone betrays you, they are showing you exactly where you stand in their hierarchy of values. They have weighed the options, considered the consequences, and still decided that whatever they gained, be it status, money, power, or even just a fleeting moment of satisfaction, was worth more than your trust, your relationship, your well-being. That is not a mistake. That is a revelation. And yet, we make the mistake of believing that betrayal can be undone with time, that people change simply because the years have passed. But betrayal is not just an act, it is a mindset. It is a willingness to hurt, to deceive, to prioritize oneself at the expense of another. And that willingness does not fade with time. It only hides, waiting for the next opportunity. The most painful part is that betrayal rarely comes from those we expect. It is often the people we love the most, a friend we trusted with our deepest secrets, a family member we believed would always stand beside us, a partner who once swore loyalty. And when the betrayal comes from those closest to us, it does more than just hurt, it changes us. It shakes the very foundation of how we see relationships, how we trust, how we love. It makes us question not just others, but ourselves, our judgment, our ability to see people clearly, our own worth. And if we are not careful, it can plant a seed of self-doubt that follows us for years. That is why it is so crucial, so absolutely necessary, to recognize that some doors must remain closed. Some wounds do not heal through reconciliation, but through distance. You may feel the urge to go back, to test the waters, to see if maybe, just maybe, the past can be undone. But ask yourself, what are you hoping to find? Do you truly believe that the person who betrayed you has transformed, or are you simply longing for the illusion of what once was? A betrayer does not betray by accident. They betray because, at their core, they are willing to. And that kind of willingness does not disappear, it waits. True strength is not in forgiving and forgetting at the cost of your own well-being. True strength is in recognizing when someone has shown you their true colors and believing them the first time. It is in choosing yourself, your peace, your dignity, your future, over a past that no longer serves you. If someone was willing to betray you once, you owe it to yourself never to give them the chance to do it again. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Let them stay closed. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment 2 below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for taking the time to watch. 2. The perpetual victims. There are people in this world who refuse to take responsibility for their own lives. No matter what happens, no matter how much time passes, they remain stuck in the same endless cycle of complaints, disappointment, and self-pity. These are the perpetual victims, the ones who see life as something that happens to them, never something they have control over. And if you are not careful, their misery will become yours. At first, you may feel compassion for them. You may believe that if you just listen enough, support them enough, encourage them enough, they will finally see a way forward. But the painful truth is, they do not want a way forward. They want an audience. They want someone to validate their suffering, to sit beside them in their bitterness, to absorb their resentment and call it love. And if you let them, they will pull you into their world, a world where hope is a foolish dream, where success is impossible, and where happiness is something that happens to other people, never to them. The danger is not always obvious. Misery does not always scream, sometimes it whispers. It seeps into your thoughts, into your heart, into the way you see your own life. You might walk into their home feeling strong, motivated, ready to take on the world. But after an hour of their complaints, their negativity, their endless stories of why life is unfair, you leave feeling heavy, exhausted, and full of doubt. These people do not celebrate your victories, they do not uplift your spirit. Instead, they remind you of every hardship, every risk, every reason why things might not work out. They call it realism. They say they are just trying to protect you. But in reality, they are doing nothing more than projecting their own fears, their own failures, onto you. The hardest part is that these people are not always strangers. Sometimes they are family. Sometimes they are friends you have known for years. And because you care about them, because you remember who they used to be or who you wish they could become, you stay. You keep listening. You keep trying to help. But here's what you must understand. You cannot save someone who does not want to be saved. You cannot pull someone out of a hole they have chosen to remain in. And if you try, the only thing that will happen is that you will exhaust yourself, sacrificing your own joy, your own peace, for someone who refuses to change. That is why you must protect yourself. Not because you do not care, but because your own life matters too. You were not put on this earth to be someone else's emotional dumping ground. You were not meant to carry the weight of people who refuse to stand on their own. The people you surround yourself with shape your thoughts, your emotions, your future. And if you surround yourself with those who refuse to see the good in life, you will soon find it harder to see it yourself. So let go. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the obligation. Let go of the belief that it is your responsibility to fix someone else's life. You can love them. You can pray for them. But you do not have to stay in their suffering. Your energy is sacred. Your peace is worth protecting. And the people who truly belong in your life will be the ones who lift you up, not the ones who drag you down. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment 3 below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 3. The resentful ones. There is a silent, invisible shift that happens when you grow, when you evolve, when you start becoming the person you were meant to be. You feel it in the way certain people look at you differently, in the change in their tone, in the subtle distance that wasn't there before. These are the resentful ones, the people who once stood beside you, maybe even supported you, but now see your progress as a personal threat. It is not because you have hurt them. It is not because you have taken something from them. It is because your growth forces them to confront something uncomfortable within themselves, their own stagnation. And instead of celebrating your success, they resent it. At first, you might not even notice it. Maybe they still smile when you share good news, but something in their words feels different. Their support becomes lukewarm, their compliments feel hollow. Instead of encouragement, you hear passive-aggressive remarks, "Must be nice. You've changed." Don't get too ahead of yourself. What they do not say, but what their energy screams, is "Your growth makes me feel small." Because every step you take forward reminds them of the steps they were too afraid to take. Every risk you take, every goal you achieve, is a mirror that reflects back their own fears, their own missed opportunities, their own unwillingness to change. The painful truth is that not everyone will be happy for you. Not everyone will clap when you win. Some people will take your success as a personal attack, as if your progress is proof of their failure. And the most dangerous part? They will not always show their resentment in obvious ways. Instead, they will undermine you subtly, planting small seeds of doubt in your mind. Are you sure this is the right path? Don't get too confident. I just don't want to see you get disappointed. They will disguise their jealousy as concern, their bitterness as wisdom, their resentment as realism. And if you are not careful, you will start to believe them. You will start to shrink yourself to make them feel more comfortable. You will begin hesitating, questioning whether you are making the right choices. But here's the truth: you do not need permission to grow. You do not owe anyone an apology for becoming more, for wanting more, for striving toward a better life. The people who truly belong in your life will never feel threatened by your success. They will be inspired by it. They will celebrate you, not resent you. And the ones who cannot, they were never meant to go where you are headed. It is not easy to accept that some people you love may not be able to come with you into the next chapter of your life. It is painful to realize that someone you once considered a friend or a trusted family member now harbors resentment toward you. But the real betrayal is betraying yourself to keep them comfortable. Do not dim your light to make others feel at ease in the dark. Do not lower yourself to fit into places you have outgrown. The right people will rise with you. The wrong ones will try to hold you back. And when that happens, you must make a choice: your growth or their comfort. Choose yourself. Every time. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment below to let me know you're still here with me. Thank you for your valuable time. For the manipulators and users. There are people in this world who do not see kindness as something to be valued, but as something to be exploited. They recognize a generous heart, a compassionate soul, and instead of appreciating it, they see it as an opportunity. These are the manipulators and users, the ones who take, who drain you of your time, your energy, and your emotional strength, all while making you feel like you owe them something. And the hardest part? They are often the people you least expect. They come as friends, as family, as people who claim to love and care for you. But love built on expectation, on obligation, on one-sided sacrifice, is not love at all, it is control. At first, their requests seem small. A favor here, a little help there. And because you are a good person, because you care, you say yes. You convince yourself that you are just being kind, that you are doing what any decent person would do. But over time, a pattern emerges. The calls only come when they need something. The gratitude fades, replaced by expectation. And suddenly, you realize that your kindness is not being appreciated, it is being used. And worse, the moment you set a boundary, the moment you say no, the warmth disappears. The affection turns cold. And they make you feel guilty, as if your worth to them was never about who you are, but what you could provide. Manipulators are masters of guilt. They twist the truth to make themselves the victim, to make you feel selfish for prioritizing your own needs. They remind you of all the times they were there for you, as if every kind act was just another debt you now owe. And if you are not careful, you will fall into their trap. You will keep giving, keep sacrificing, keep stretching yourself thin, until one day, you realize that you are running on empty, pouring from a cup that has nothing left to give. And where are they? Nowhere. Because users do not stay when the well runs dry. They simply move on to the next person who will give without question, without limits, without expecting anything in return. But here's what you must understand: real love, real friendship, real connection is not transactional. The people who truly value you will never make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They will never measure your worth by what you can give them. The people who belong in your life will not take advantage of your kindness. They will cherish it. They will appreciate it. They will return it. So set your boundaries. Say no without explanation, without guilt, without fear. If someone only loves you when you are saying yes, they never truly loved you at all. Stop exhausting yourself trying to please people who will never be satisfied. You are not responsible for carrying relationships that only weigh you down. And if walking away makes you the bad guy in their story, so be it. Because your peace, your well-being, and your happiness are more valuable than the approval of someone who was only using you in the first place. Choose yourself. The right people always will. 5. The drama seekers. Some people do not seek peace, they seek chaos. They thrive in conflict, breathe in gossip, and stir up problems where none exist. These are the drama seekers, the ones who always seem to be in the middle of some crisis, some argument, some never-ending cycle of turmoil. And if you are not careful, their storms will become yours. Their chaos will seep into your mind, their conflicts will drain your energy, and before you even realize it, you will be caught in a whirlwind of unnecessary stress, exhaustion, and negativity. At first, you might feel sympathy for them. You might believe they are simply unlucky, that life has dealt them a difficult hand, that they cannot help the constant chaos surrounding them. And because you care, because you are someone who wants to help, you try to be their voice of reason. You listen. You offer advice. You try to calm the fires they set. But soon, you start to notice a pattern: their problems never go away. The names may change, the situations may shift, but the drama never stops. Because it is not happening to them, it is happening because of them. Drama seekers are not looking for solutions. They are not looking for peace. They are looking for attention, for validation, for someone to feed into their endless cycle of conflict. And they will pull you into it if you let them. They will call you, text you, show up at your door, unloading their latest crisis onto you, expecting you to get involved, to take sides, to fix their mess. But the moment you try to step back, the moment you suggest that maybe the problem is not the world, but the way they engage with it, they will turn on you. Because drama seekers do not want to hear the truth, they want someone to participate in the chaos with them. And if you refuse, if you dare to protect your peace, they will accuse you of being unsupportive, of not caring, of abandoning them in their time of need. But here's what you must understand: you are not responsible for carrying someone else's dysfunction. You do not have to be a character in their never-ending soap opera. You do not have to be the person they call every time they need a new audience for their problems. You do not owe them your emotional energy, your time, your peace. The more you engage, the more they will take. The more you listen, the more they will unload. And the more you allow their chaos into your life, the harder it will be to recognize your own peace slipping away. So set boundaries. Step back. If someone always brings stress, conflict, and negativity into your world, it is time to let them go. Real friendships, real relationships should bring support, not exhaustion. They should lift you up, not drag you into battles that were never yours to fight. Choose peace over chaos. Choose yourself over the never-ending cycle of conflict. Because the only way to truly win in their game of drama is to refuse to play at all. 6. The people who refuse to acknowledge your growth. Growth is one of the most beautiful and painful transformations in life. It requires courage, self-awareness, and the willingness to step away from who you used to be in order to become who you were meant to be. But not everyone in your life will accept your evolution. Some people, whether out of nostalgia, insecurity, or their own inability to change, will refuse to acknowledge the person you have become. These are the people who hold on to an outdated version of you, the ones who constantly remind you of your past mistakes, your past struggles, your past weaknesses. And if you are not careful, their refusal to see your growth can become a weight that keeps you stuck in an identity you have long outgrown. The hardest part is that these people are often the ones who have known you the longest: family, childhood friends, old colleagues. They were there when you were still figuring yourself out, when you made poor decisions, when you doubted yourself. And instead of recognizing how far you've come, they keep bringing up who you used to be. "Oh, you've always been this way. I know the real you. Don't act like you're different now." At first, you might brush it off, thinking they just need time to adjust. But over time, you begin to realize that they do not want to see your growth. They do not want to acknowledge that you have changed. Because if they do, they might have to face the uncomfortable truth that they have not. Being around people who refuse to acknowledge your evolution is like being trapped in a past that no longer fits. Every conversation feels like a step backward. Every interaction is filled with reminders of the mistakes you've worked so hard to move beyond. They do not celebrate your progress. They do not uplift your new mindset. Instead, they keep you tethered to an old version of yourself, making it harder for you to fully embrace the person you are becoming. And the longer you stay in their presence, the more difficult it becomes to believe in your own transformation. But here's what you must understand: you do not need anyone's permission to grow. You do not need validation from those who refuse to see the work you have put into yourself. Growth is not about proving yourself to others. It is about honoring your own evolution, about stepping into the new version of yourself without fear, without hesitation, without the need for approval. Some people will never accept your change because it challenges their perception of the world. It forces them to reflect on their own choices, their own stagnation. And for some, that is too uncomfortable to face. So do not shrink yourself to fit into their expectations. Do not lower yourself to match the person they want you to be. The people who truly belong in your life will see your growth, respect it, and celebrate it. And those who refuse, let them stay in the past where they belong. You were not meant to remain the same. You were meant to rise, to evolve, to become more than who you once were. And anyone who cannot see that does not deserve a front row seat in your future. Life is too short to carry the weight of the wrong people. There comes a time when you must ask yourself a hard but necessary question: are the people in my life lifting me up, or are they pulling me down? Because every moment spent with those who drain you, betray you, resent your growth, or keep you stuck in the past is a moment stolen from your own happiness, your own peace, your own future. And the truth is, not everyone is meant to go where you are headed. Some people were only meant to be part of your story for a season, not a lifetime. But letting go is not easy. Walking away from familiar faces, from people you once trusted, from relationships that once felt unbreakable, it is one of the hardest things you will ever do. You will feel guilt. You will question yourself. You will wonder if maybe you are being too harsh, too selfish, too unforgiving. But here's what you must understand: protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot become who you are meant to be while still clinging to people who drain your spirit. You cannot move forward if you are constantly being pulled back into the chaos, the negativity, the cycles that have held you hostage for too long. Some will say you have changed, and they are right. Growth requires change. Evolution demands that you shed the old, that you leave behind what no longer serves you. And the ones who truly love you, the ones who genuinely want the best for you, will never ask you to sacrifice your well-being for their comfort. They will celebrate your success, not resent it. They will support your boundaries, not manipulate them. They will recognize your transformation, not reduce you to your past. But the ones who do not, let them go. If they betray you once, they will do it again. If they resent your growth, they will try to hold you back. If they thrive on misery, they will bring you into their darkness. And if they only value you for what you can give, they will leave you empty and exhausted. You owe it to yourself to walk away. You owe it to yourself to close the doors that need to stay closed. So I ask you today, who in your life is keeping you from becoming the person you are meant to be? Who are you holding on to, not out of love, but out of guilt, out of obligation, out of fear? And are you ready to make the choice that deep down you know you need to make? Because your peace, your happiness, and your future are worth protecting. The people who truly belong in your life will never require you to sacrifice yourself just to keep them close. And the ones who do, they were never meant to stay. So take that step. Walk forward with strength, with dignity, with the unwavering belief that you deserve more. And when the past calls you back, when old habits try to pull you in, when guilt whispers that you should go back, remember this: you do not belong there anymore. You are not who you used to be. You are becoming something greater. And that future? It is waiting for you. But you will never reach it if you keep looking back.